welcome to the Underground Guitar. Underground Guitar. What's the name of the show? The Underground Gospel Show. This is episode, believe it or not, this is episode number. Oh, and I do need to check this because I didn't do that earlier. I just want to make sure that I have audio is up and running and everything's looking really hot. Last week, I really have to apologize because I think last week the sound was really far down. I don't know what happened. Um, I did hit the um, mute, not the mute, the automatic mic adjust. And so I thought I could adjust it myself. I tried to take control, and that didn't work out too well. So we have gone back to letting the algorithm, as it were, take control. And so, but you're watching this on, once again, either Twitch or Facebook Live or YouTube Live, and welcome. I think I'm also streaming this today on my personal Facebook channel. So if you're a friend of mine and you're watching this, hi guys. Yeah, I've been doing live streaming. This is now our 68th or 69th show, depending on which one of these you're watching on either Friday or Saturday night. They're every Friday and Saturday at 8 o'clock. This is a safe place. I do have a Discord channel that we will be launching really soon. And basically, what that is it's like my own social networking um, channel. So it's going to be my own social networking area where you guys can connect and you can talk to each other. You can create your little icons and your avatars, and just we can have our own basic tribe fans. Just we can all interact with each other, and you can ask me any questions, contact me directly. If you're interested in lyrics to the song, those are found at night-music.com. In fact, I might just throw that banner up here real quick. Where is that banner? It should be right here. Boom, look at that. So we have a night-music.com. And if you want to send me email about a suggestion or anything, you can always get to that through night-music. Also, we have new garments that we're going to be premiering um, later on, probably next week. We got some really, really cool styles coming out. And so I think they're really cool. Now, here's the deal. When I trend the styles, because everything that I do is about Jesus. Jesus has two peak areas, and they call them CEOs, and that's Christmas and Easter only. And so, because let's face it, Jesus is the CEO, so it makes total sense. But CEO stands for Christmas and Easter only. So the big peak in my merchandise sales are only going to be right before Christmas and right before Easter. So we're coming out with spring styles and for styles that are a little bit warmer for the cooler temperatures of wintertime. And so, but they all say Jesus, and they say Jesus in multiple languages. So, depending on where in the world, because I believe Twitch is in 140 different countries. So, if you're watching this on another country or in a different area, welcome. Benevitos, Privyet. Let's see, what are some of the um, uh, Konnichiwa, Ohio gozaimasu if you see it early in Japan. And so, yeah, we have a few different places that we're showing this. Oh, by the way, I don't know why you would speak sign language, but that's good morning in sign language. So, or hello. Um, so anyway, this is a safe place. All of our discords, all of our chats, all of our chat rooms are all friendly. They're all safe. There's no place you're going to see vulgarity. If there is, you will be removed. We do have a new Discord page coming, and the Discord page is this is how we're going to be basically financing this and everything that we're doing from now on. What it will be is it's a cup of coffee. It's $4.99 a month. You pay $4.99 a month. You get tons of rewards. In fact, I'm working right now on finding somebody. And if you're interested in this position, let me know. I'm looking for somebody to do active fan engagement. Your whole purpose in our organization will be to bring engagement to the fans and bring fun and games and puzzles and just joy and happiness. I don't know if you're into bringing joy and happiness and fun and games and puzzles to everybody, but that's what your whole purpose would be. And so we'll have a lot of trivia contests. We'll have a lot of games. We'll have just tons and tons of fun. I have so many ideas. Those of you who might know me, I'm a little bit of a creative, so get ready for this. I believe you will get much greater value than the 4.90 for the cup of coffee we're going to share, and so that's what it's going to be. Anyway, so we'll be doing a Discord channel, but tonight's message is on acts of God, and I wanted to first talk to you about Luke 8, 22 through 25, and I think I mentioned it on the preview. I ran out of twos, so that's why I have 22 to 5. I know that doesn't make sense, but it's supposed to be 22 to 25. Um, what it is that's where Jesus tells his guys, hey, let's go across the sea. And they're going to go across the Sea of Galilee to another place called Capernaum. He had been preaching in one area, and so he's going to go to another area. It's a beautiful night, stars are out. Back then they didn't have a lot of light clutter, so I'm sure they could see the if you've ever seen the Milky Way, our galaxy, if you've ever seen the cloud cluster of stars, it's phenomenal. So that's what I expect they had. Either that or maybe there was a moon out, they could see so many stars. But they decided to go across the lake at night, which is a little strange because most of the time sailors don't sail a lot at night. But they went because Jesus said, hey, go, let's go. And so as they were going across, there came a storm, and it was a doozy of a storm. It was a huge one, and they were all scared because they thought they were going to capsize. I mean, the boat was just tossing this and that. And Jesus, now this is what he did. He got in the back. He'd been preaching all day, so he took a nap. So he's laying down. He's sleeping. The sailors are just freaking out. Now this is actually in Luke. And I'll tell you a cool little story about Luke in just a second. But anyway, so they're going across and they wake him up. It's like, Jesus, we're going to die. We're all going to die. What are we supposed to do? And Jesus is like, oh my goodness. He gets up, he goes to the front of the boat, and he looks up the skies and he's like, quiet, stop. And the seas just stopped. They just became quiet. And these guys wondered, who is this guy that even the storms obey him? Now, if you've been around a lot of storms, we understand now that there are fronts that come through, and once the front comes through, it does calm down a little bit. But that's not what it says. It doesn't say that the storm came down and then it rained for like the rest of the trip. He said calm, and it stopped. I mean, there was no lingering. It was just, it stopped. Probably cleared up and dissipated. Very freaky special effects. Think, Steven Spielberg type of all of a sudden stars appear again. That's what I'm imagining happened here, because these guys were like, who is this guy that even the storms obey him? But I want the cool thing about this is I wanted to bring to your attention that Jesus had sent them across the lake. He had sent them knowing that there would be a storm. He sent them into the storm. And the reason being is because I believe he knew they would call on him to calm the storm, which is what a lot of us do when we see storms. Let's face it, we calm the storm by going to Jesus, and we're like, help us. We don't know what to do without you. And a lot of times he'll calm the storm for you. The cool story I was going to tell about Luke is that my production company in movies is called Cyrene Productions, and that's because I identify with two people in the Bible, and the first was Simon of Cyrene, and Cyrene was there's like a little horn with Tripoli on one side and Cyrene was on the other. It's on the Mediterranean, and Cyrene's not around anymore, but Tripoli still is. When Luke would have been known as Luke of Cyrene back in this time, because he actually came from the area of Cyrene. And there's 3 people mentioned in the Bible that are from Cyrene, Luke being one of them. There's another one, and his name was Simon, and that's the guy I relate to, because Simon was the guy standing on the side when the Romans came by and they were putting Jesus to his death. And Jesus was carrying the cross, and he fell 3 times. Well, the third time he fell, he reached down to help him up, and the Romans made him carry the cross. And I see Simon as being a guy who is just like watching a parade. Okay, it's like there's a parade going on. This, oh wait, this guy needs help. Let me give him a hand. I don't think he was a Christian. I don't think he was a follower of Christ. I don't think he knew too much what was going on. But the Romans forced him to pick up the cross and carry it. And the reason why I identify with it is because being the same guy, I just wanted to watch the parade. I didn't really want to get involved with all the stuff that I do right now, but I did pick up the cross and carry it. And that's something that's why we have our motto, which is be instrumental, is because you not only because I'm an instrumental guitar player, but because you can get involved in people's lives and you can be instrumental. I was going to tell you a story about when I went to Florida. Actually, I'm sorry. It wasn't Florida. It was New Orleans a couple years ago. And I went to this church on the outskirts of Florida, outskirts of New Orleans. And we went in, and I got there early. So, I went up. I was talking to some people. We were totally getting along. I helped with the stage a little bit, because let's face it, if I've ever come to your church, you probably have seen me. I'm not the type that just sits around my hands. I have done that, but it's very, very, very rare. I'm usually going to get up and get involved somehow in the production because that's what I do. I'm instrumental. And so that's what I was doing then. And the preacher came out and he talked and he gave this sermon, and it wasn't good. It was about the fact that a friend of his had just died, and he was, for lack of a better word, well, I'll use ticked off. Let's just say ticked off. He was extremely ticked off because he had his church praying. He had been praying. He had done the Lord, if you take this from my friend, I'll do whatever you want, that type of prayer. And he was just very, very, very much into, heal this guy, heal my friend, God, sorry, you have to heal my friend. It's very important to me that you do, creator of the universe and all encompassing omnipotent God, do exactly what I want you to do. God, in his infinite wisdom, for some reason, didn't do it. And the guy died. And so he had this big 20-minute sermon about how upset he was on God and that his faith was tested. And he wasn't sure if he was going to continue on or not. I don't know if he did, to tell you the truth. He was very upset. I mean, very ready to just, drop the mic and walk away from his church. And then afterwards, after the sermon, he was sitting at the end, and everybody was consoling him as they were leaving the church. And I walked up, and the sound person said, "Hey, I want you to meet the pastor." And I really didn't want to meet the pastor because my words were not going to make him happy. I knew it. I just knew what God was putting on my heart. So we walked up to him, and he introduced, and I said, "Let me ask you a question." I said, "Your sermon was very interesting, and I'm sorry that you grieve and you hurt so much, but did you want your friend to get out into heaven?" And the guy looked at me like, "What? Of course I did." I'm like, "Great. What was your plan for it?" And he just looked at me, and you could tell he was steaming. I mean, it was just the wrong question. I know. But it was like, what was your plan for it? Was your plan for it better than God's plan for it? Because your friend's now up in heaven and he has no remembrance of the pain. All he remembers is the joy of you being there. In fact, if I read the Bible right, we all kind of show up at the same time, even though we die at different times. So, in fact, when you see your friend again, you're not going to remember this grieving period of losing him, and you won't remember the pain that he went through, and he won't remember the pain that he went through. You guys are just going to be really glad to be back together again and exploring all of the incredible universe that God has created for us since the beginning of time. He wasn't happy. He just turned around and walked away. He didn't say anything to me, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not welcome at this place. So I'm really, because there was his entourage was around him, and they weren't really happy with me either, because didn't give him the words of encouragement that everybody else in the church had. Um, please don't quit type of thing. I was just like, what was your plan on getting your friend into heaven? And was it actually better than God's? Because we don't know yet. So anyway, doing that after that, I guess it's time to sing a little bit of a song here. And I wanted to talk to you about, and this is why I made the mistake when I wrote the show notes. This is my sorry. When I made the mistake, I didn't write New Orleans. I wrote Florida. So that's why I was calling it Florida the entire time. Anyway, so I'm going to do a song right now. Let's get it back up here so I can see myself. Hi, guys. Um, let's see. I'm going to do this so that you can see that I'm actually play. I'm going to do this so you can see that I'm actually playing the guitar. See if I can remember how this goes. I think you might know it. If you don't, I think you should learn it. Maybe you should learn it too. Okay, I think I'm going to sneeze, so I'm going to mute this real quick. Maybe I can do this without sneezing. Yeah, I'll be good. If I had to rub my nose, that probably wasn't something I should do on camera. Where was I going to go here? Oh, and I told you about floods and about storms and about, um, there are some things that happen. And I just want to explain that when God made this world, he made it not only for us, but for a lot of creatures that inhabit it too. And that these storms that happen, a lot of times they're a natural thing that's part of the earth to replenish the earth. Fires, we know in California, break open seeds and cause new life. We know that volcanoes bring ash, and which brings minerals and nutrients to all kinds of plants. We know that droughts are a really good way to refertilize the earth and to crack the earth so that when the rains come, sub nutrients come up and that nutrients at the top can come down. We know that lakes rise and fall. We know that it's really funny. I just saw a report where they've been taking the water from the aquifer in the San Joaquin Valley, and they've been taking the water from hundreds of feet below the whole San Joaquin Valley and watering the land, thinking that the water in the land would actually seep back down and fill up the aquifer. But what's happening is the water in the land is, like we've talked before, is turning into H2O, and oxygen goes up and hydrogen goes a little higher, and so then it makes rain, which makes a lot more flood, and so the water isn't actually seeping, it's actually evaporating, going into the atmosphere. But in the meantime, the land is actually sinking, and the report that I read said that there are parts of the San Joaquin Valley that in the past 100 years have fallen as much as 18 feet because we've sucked out all the water underneath it that was somehow the water was holding up the land. Don't understand that. I think it has to do with the vacuum, though, if I had my guesses. But anyway, so what I was going to say is that, when you see the hand of God, because they call these things acts of God, but the acts of God are not in the storm. The acts of God are what happen after the storm. And that is once again tying into us being instrumental to each other. Because when you see families come out and neighbors come out and people you haven't even met before, and they come out to help each other and they come out to love on each other, and they bring chicken and pie and bring sweet tea and they rebuild and they hold and they dig out, relatives. And I mean, there's so many things. People are so good to each other after a calamity. The act of God is not in the calamity. The act of God is in the people who help other people after the calamity. Okay, so I think the insurance companies have it all wrong when they call these things acts of God, because they're not. The acts of God are what happened after the event, after the disaster, after the catastrophe. The insurance companies just call it an act of God, but they're completely wrong. It's kind of like, in my opinion, the term butterfly. Butterflies are not butter that flies. They're actually should be called flutterbys, because they're things that flutter that go by you. So somehow flutterbys became butterflies. Same way that the act of God became the disaster instead of what happens after the disaster from the people of God. And so, and here's the deal: when I say people of God, we are all created to be creative, but and to help each other. We're all part of the same tribe. Doesn't matter your religion, doesn't matter your faith or the color of the skin or your height or your weight or your physical ability. We are all created in the image of God. And I believe every person realizes this and everybody helps each other in that type of catastrophe. It's only when they have time to focus on themselves that they realize that they're different from everybody else. But if we focus on everybody else and we realize how much of the same we are, that's getting me into completely different areas and might be a subject for a show later on. So let me do a song here that's about that, and this is I consider this song about that. Maybe other people wouldn't, but this is how this is called "I See the Lord," and it's what I see after these natural disasters, because I see people come out and just like we had a flood in a place called Waverly, and uh, Dolly Parton is now doing a bunch of stuff over in East Tennessee to help the people in West Tennessee, and I know that we're just a good race of people. I really believe that in my heart. I believe there are some people who aren't, but I believe that deep down inside we all want to be, and I think that we can all do better. And I know I can, and I think that it would be good just to be instrumental to each other and to love each other, which is a little hippy yippy for me, but that's when I see people at their best is when they're helping and they're loving each other. So this is called I See the Lord. I hope you enjoy it. I see the Lord seated on the throne. Well, I see the Lord working in the hands of the people who are helping others during these natural disasters. There are people going now into the flood zones in Texas and in New Orleans and in Louisiana and in Floribama. They're helping people in Waverly. They're helping people in New York. They're helping people in New Jersey. They're helping people in anywhere that any of these hurricanes and natural disasters have happened. I know that they're working diligently to put out the fires in the West, and they're working really hard to take care of the families that have been displaced. And I know that there's a lot of people at the border that are right now in serious, serious need. So let's pray for them and let's help them when we possibly can. I just heard about, well, this was about a month ago that I guess a, like 15 buses showed up in Chattanooga and dumped like 1,000 children between the ages of 15 that were from the border and they didn't speak any English and they just 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, get off the bus, enjoy the United States. And it's like, dude, these people are not even prepared for what's about to happen in wintertime. So I know that that's happening all across the United States too, that people, that hundreds and hundreds of people are being just filtered in to our economy, which is, that's okay. We just have to be able to acclimate them to what we do here. So, let's see. The only other thing that I was going to do, I had mentioned the fact that we have garments and we have some new ones coming up. I have a Patreon page. If you would like to join up and buy a cup of coffee for me, that would be great. This is going to be the only way next year, starting in March, that you're going to be able to see this show. So through the Patreon page, we'll have previews once again through everything else. I don't know if we're going to keep it on Twitch. We might get rid of that. We might add Reddit. I know that we're talking about a couple different things, and I'm building the team. So if you're interested in helping out and you're a positive person, if you're a visionary, if you love Jesus and love spreading his word around the interwebs, um, and you're just wondering, I wonder how I could help and what I could do, I might have a place for you. So send me an email. Do I have my email streaming right now, or is it just night music? Okay, it's night music. Well, you can find my email at night music, or I literally have the coolest email ever in the history of emails. And let me get down to it because it's coming up right now. It's a guitar for Jesus at musician.org. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. We're right at the 30-minute mark. And I'm so glad I was able to share some of this information with you. I hope you found it helpful. And I hope you can go out there and be instrumental to people. We have some great be instrumental. In fact, I have a license plate frame that says that. It's kind of funny. It's so funny that people don't honk at me anymore. Anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Let me go ahead here and see if I'm about rolling the ending credits. I need to add some music to the ending credits, I think. So, but that's something I'm going to work on. Or maybe I can get a moderator who can help me, a head of engineering, who can help me develop some of these ideas. Anyway, God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Bye.